else but herself.
I'm sure you don't mean that, Mum.
I do. She was terribly selfish. She always claimed to have green fingers, but most things seemed to wither and die. Perhaps it was the way she spoke to them.
I know how they felt. I withered each time she called me. I presume you won't be riding tomorrow?
I'm visiting Mummy's solicitor and imagine the discussions will last most of the morning. I won't have time to ride, but Alice said that she might go for a hack this afternoon.
Old King is getting on a bit. I've been giving... every morning he seems to start lame. I've been giving him Butte, but it's pepped him up a bit, but I think there's something more to it than that, something troubling him. I shall speak to Mr. Maltravers and ask him to get the vet, Mr. Owen, to come and see him.
Richard knows nothing about horses. Smithy, please telephone Mr. Owen later and arrange for a visit. It's terribly important we look after King. He means the world to me. Perhaps it's about time we thought about buying another horse. I always wanted a good hunter. If we choose wisely, we might be able to breed. You always said that you wanted to work more with horses and less with flowers and people.
Mum, excuse me for being presumptuous, but last month when I asked if we could replace the tack, Mr. Maltravers said there were no funds for fillies to be frivolous. You must remember, Mum, because as I was leaving, you and Mr. Maltravers began to have the most terrific row.
No, I can't remember, Smithy. It was one of several we had. Oh, Richard is being beastly to me more and more. Well, from this morning, things have suddenly changed, and I'm sure Richard knows it. I think you will find that Richard will no longer have a monopoly on frivolity, whether it's horses or otherwise.
Excuse me, Mum. I don't want to intrude, but I couldn't help noticing those bruises on your arm. Forgive me for saying it, but they could benefit from some ointment. What with my gammy leg giving way occasionally and me falling over and getting bruised, I've found some really good horse liniment that you can rub in. Perhaps I could bring a bucket up to the house for you to try.
Why, thank you. Yes, perhaps I will try some. Although, I think you might find that I won't be needing it anymore from now on.
Ever since I copped one from the Bosch on the Somme, my leg's never been the same. Well, it's 2 inches shorter than the other one for a start.
It must be growing, because the last time you told me this story, it was 4 inches shorter.
Oh, yeah. Funny that.
Perhaps it's the outdoor life and the clean living.
Yeah. My Alex used to say the same to me.
Yes, I remember.
I was just thinking about him the other day. He'd be 41 this week.
42, actually.
You're right.
It's today.
You're right. I wonder what he'd be doing now. He'd have thought that Iraq in 32 would have been a safe billet for the army to send him. Instead of which he gets himself killed after only a week. I wish you and him hadn't had those words. I always thought he only joined up to spite you. Silly bugger.
Do you think Mary has been looking peaky this last week or so?
Perhaps. To be honest, I ain't really noticed. Here's your flowers, ma'am.
I say, Smithy, is King ready?
I know, Miss Alice. Your mum has just told me you want to take him out. So if you come with me, we'll get the tax sorted out. And I'll give you a hand to saddle him up.
Thank you, Smithy. Now, I must go and put these in water. Oh, Alice, I want to speak to you and Rebecca before dinner, so don't be out too long.
Okay, Mummy, I'm sure I want to talk to you too.
Nee!
He's talking alright. He sounds slightly lame to me.
I was just telling your mum he's getting old, and I wish you'd get Mr. Owen to look at him. Otherwise he'll be living worse than me.
The vet? But Daddy said that's like throwing good money after bad when you have to get the war started in.
Well, your mum's told me it was all right. Said that things had suddenly changed.
I wonder what she means by that.
Well, I don't know, miss. Look, I don't want to be forward, but have you noticed them bruises on your mum's arms?
What about them?
Well, I think she should get the doctor to look at them. I've offered her some of the ointment, but it looks more serious than that.
Smithy, do you believe in the class struggle?
Sorry?
Working class, middle class, upper class and all that?
Have you turned socialist, or worse still, communist? Because if you have, you better keep it to yourself and keep quiet about it. People who think like that have been known to disappear.
Oh, don't be silly. It's just that Daddy said I shouldn't marry beneath me. He thinks we're middle class, so it must mean that John is working class.
Oh, I see now. Your dad disapproves of Jockey John.
Don't call him that! Yes, it's John that wants to marry me to marry him, and I want Daddy to give us his approval.
And his money for a big wedding.
I'll ignore that. You don't think it's wrong, do you?
Well, if you're both in love, nah. Ever since the war ended, people have been saying that now we're a classless society. Oh, it was much the same after the first one. I haven't seen much evidence of it though, have you? I still muck out the horses for a pittance, and your father still sells things for lots of money. That won't change. Well, till he's caught, that is. Till he's caught out by the lack of business.
Yes, Daddy said saying something on the telephone about his business not doing very well.
So it's not an awfully good time to be tapping in for money then, is it?
Ha ha.
I'm not joking. I've worked with him for 6 years, and whilst he's never been that generous, he's always seen me right. Well, most of the time. But for the past couple of years, he's changed.
How?
Well, sometimes he forgets to give me my money on a Friday. Says he's forgot to go to the bank. In fact, he hasn't given me any money for the past 4 weeks. I'm almost skinned. Every time I mention it, he changes the subject. Says he's got more important things to do.
Well, Daddy is terribly busy. He's constantly meeting people and talking about loans and deals and things.
I know. I often have to drive in to meet some very strange men. We go to places that even as an old soldier I wouldn't go to without my pals. Places like Burr Street and Mile Cross and even Cobham.
He and Dr. Williams have been talking about money a lot recently. It really is most extraordinary.
Ah, is that so?
Daddy keeps telephoning the doctor at the surgery wanting more stuff. I think Daddy's ill and being terribly brave about it. And I think that's really why he won't let John and I get engaged.
Ah, well, let's hope he don't shuffle off this mortal before he's paid me my wages.
Smithy, sometimes I don't know whether you're joking or not.
Come on then, boy. You'll feel better after a nice long walk. Fetch your brushes, miss, and I'll get the saddle.
Nee!
No, operator, please can you connect me with Dr. Williams? I've been trying to dial in, but I can't establish a connection. Thank you. Hello, Harold. Richard here. Now look, you promised me some more stuff today, but you haven't brought it round yet. Yes, I know things are getting difficult, but that's not my fault, is it? It wasn't me who forgot to sign the blasted prescriptions, was it? Now, don't you take that tone with me, Doctor, or I'll have to tell people what you used to do in the war. Yes, I know. But they won't think so, will they? I'm sure some of those lovely ladies would be very interested to know what they were taking. Good. That's better. Come round later and stay for dinner. I'll show you a few samples that I kept back from those days, just to help you focus in the matter in hand. And goodbye to you as well.
Excuse me, sir, may I have a word?
I am busy, Mary. They'll have to wait.
Well, let me make up a fire then, sir. They say there's going to be a frost tonight, first sign of winter.
I'm not cold.
Have you decided when?
Pardon?
You said you'd tell her today. You said you couldn't stand secrecy any longer.
Secrecy?
Have you forgotten what you told me last night? You said that she was getting more and more irritating and that sooner or later she'd have to go. Then you said it should be sooner and then it'd be better for all three of us. Or should I say all four of us?
Look, Mary, can't you see I'm busy? I'm not feeling well, so I've asked the doctor to come round. I know what I said last night, but that was last night. Things have changed.
What things?
Just things. Mary, what I said to you last night was, said after an emotional experience. You know what it's like. You watch one of those awful American films and you get very involved. When it ends all happy ever after, you feel happy too. And so you say or do things that you don't normally do.
But we didn't go to the picture house last night. Anyway, it was Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock last night, and I don't like scary films that don't have happy endings. I always feel scared when I come out of after those sort of films. I even got scared in Dam Busters.
Mary, you get scared of most things.
But when you came to see me after our mum and dad had gone to bed, you said we'll be living in Hollywood. You always tell me nice things when you see me on a Thursday, and then afterwards well, you know.
Mary, what I said last night was not meant in the way that you think it was.
Well, what did you mean when you said, I'll tell the silly cow tomorrow to pack her bags and to go back to Exeter to live with her mother?
Mary, you know I'm really happy that you're going to have a baby, and I'll do what I said, and I'll stand by you. I'm just as responsible as you are, so I'll do what's right. Don't worry your pretty little head.
So when are you going to tell her then?
Oh, probably before dinner tonight. She's less likely to make an awful scene when we have the children and the doctor here.
Good.
Oh, and by the way, I want Dr. Williams to look at you when he comes over tonight.
Why? It's only morning sickness. I've not got the pox.
He'll be able to help you.
Help?
Yes. I mean, you're 19, petite, terribly attractive. You don't want to be saddled up with some little bastard child for the rest of your life, do you? You want to settle down with some local lad and have lots of babies when the time is right for you.
But I want you.
You need to keep your options open, Mary. Who knows, you might even meet that film star you ever dreamt about. Stranger things have happened. Trust me.
Are you saying you're not going to marry me? That you're not going to leave her? That we're not going to America to start a new life? Oh, and I'm not going to get one of those big refrigerator things that keep milk from going off. Or a big stove that has gas and electric and an oven so big that you can cook a whole turkey in it. You want me to get rid of our baby?
It's your baby now, Mary. Remember that.
I'm not going to lose my baby. It's not right. I'll tell Madam myself now.
I wouldn't be too hasty. Who will believe you? It'll be your word against mine. And you have been seeing that young lad, Charlie Knapp, on and off.
But we never... You know, he just takes me to the pictures, that's all, in case I get scared.
Look, you stupid girl! The doctor will fix you. I'll give you some money, enough money for you to buy a ticket to America, and you can clear off and leave Caroline and me in peace.
I may be a bit simple, but I'm not daft. I'll sort you, Richard Maltravers. You just see if I don't. Then our dad will come round and sort you out. And then I'll get our Ben to pay you a visit when he comes home on leave. He's got a gun, you know. He's shown me. He'll sort it out for me.
I've got a gun too.
Yes, I know. I've seen it hidden in your desk. But Ben is quick. He'll beat you to the draw, and then you'll be...
Susan, please put these flowers in water and put them in the dining room.
Yes, Mum.
We have 6 people for dinner tonight. I would like you to do chicken. We will have soup to begin with. It's getting too chilly for a cold meat starter. As for dessert, a trifle, I think.
Yes, Mum. What time do you want to take dinner?
7 o'clock.
Your mother always said eating at 8 was well worth the wait. Food before then was for boys and not men.
Typical. It was always men as far as she was concerned, with no consideration for women, even her daughter. Well, she can't say it anymore now.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
She's passed away.
Oh, I'm very sorry, Mum. I didn't realise. Oh, please accept my deepest sympathies.
Thank you. The doctor likes cheese, I think. Get Lambert to bring some good cheddar and perhaps a mature Gloucester. Oh, by the way, what have you done with the silver claret jars, Mrs. Taylor?
Nothing, madam.
Well, I went to check on how clean they were, but they weren't in the cupboard. That's the second thing that's gone missing this week. Richard's cigar box has vanished too.
Well, I haven't seen either of them. I'm responsible for the meals and the daily running of the household. Cleaning's Mary's job. She must have moved them when she's not feeling sick and queasy, that is. Proper pasty face she is. Comes from staying out till all hours. Always tired and complaining, that girl. When I worked for your dear mother, we were always ill in our own time, and we made sure we were never tired. I've always kept my private life separate from my service life. Ah, speak of the devil.
Oh, sorry, Mum. I didn't know you were here.
You've been crying, Mary. Your eyes, they're red and puffy.
I've been making up Mr. Maltravis's fire.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
It was cold in the study and Mr. Maltravis asked me to make up his fire.
What have you done with the silver jugs, Mary? Madam wants them for tonight's dinner, but she can't find them. You haven't left them in the toilet, have you? You seem to spend most of your time in there these days.
They was in the study last week, next to the desk where Mr. Maltravis hides his gun. And I'm not sick in the mornings, or any other time. Didn't I see you with them in Norwich the other week, going into Windsor Bishop?
No, you didn't, you cheeky young girl. Now you apologise.
Mrs. Taylor, did you take them to Windsor Bishops?
No, Mum, I did not. I have never, ever taken anything that doesn't belong to me.
Apart from the sherry, you mean?
For cooking purposes only.
And what were you cooking at 10 o'clock this morning?
Now look, young girl, you may be expecting, but that's no
You're
excuse.
expecting?
No, I'm just,
Pregnant?
Yes, that will be enough, Mrs. Taylor. Are you expecting, Mary?
I don't know, Mum. Perhaps.
I'll get Dr. Williams to examine you when he comes later today.
Oh no, please, Mum. I want to keep it. I don't want the doctor to see me. Please, please.
Calm down, Mary. That's what you want? Then I'm sure that's what will happen.
Well, he didn't say that.
Who?
It doesn't matter, Mum.
About the sherry, Mum. I was only taking a small glass from a nurse.
Mary, I'll go and telephone Dr. Williams and ask him to bring his bag when he comes. It will be for the best, you'll see.
7311, please. Mr. Charles Peters. This is Richard Maltravers. Yes, Caroline's husband. She's asked me to inquire about her mother's will. Caroline is dreadfully upset, and I'm sure you will know. Caroline would like me to know as soon as we can to liquidate her mother's assets. Yes, I know it's terribly unusual, but my wife wants to clear things up as soon as possible. Perhaps you can bring me back as soon as possible. Yes, my number? Are you ready? Yes, it's Thornbury 7621. I think it'd be better if you asked for me, as Caroline would probably be bed resting. I've asked our doctor to give her a sleeping draught. Yes. Thank you. Of course, I shall pass on your condolences. Wait. No. Sorry, not you, Mr. Peters. Sorry, no. It's somebody at my study door. Yes. Yes, dear mother-in-law passing away so suddenly. Yeah. Goodbye. Come.
Father, has Grandma passed away? Mummy didn't say anything. When did it happen? Just now? Is that what I heard you talking about on the telephone?
Yes. Don't mention it to your mother, unless she mentions it. She's terribly upset and very distressed.
Has Grandmama been ill for some time? Is that why Mummy has been unhappy?
Why?
When I arrived yesterday, I saw Mummy crying. She wouldn't tell me what had made her upset. In the evening, I heard you and Mummy shouting at each other, and then I saw you shaking her. So I thought it was that which had made her upset.
Grandmama has been poorly for some time now. Your mother's taken it awfully hard. She's been taking some medicine to help her with her nerves.
Oh, I didn't realise.
And she gets very upset. And then she gets hysterical. I have to calm her down sometimes, so it's for her own safety. Otherwise she